Hi everyone, Salesforce Development Day 31st. Let's see what we are going to learn today. We'll quickly go through the previous session overview. We'll talk about the SOSL. Till yesterday we have seen the SOQL. Today we are going to talk about the SOSL. What are the differences between the SOQL and SOSL? And then we'll talk about the DML statements. What are the governor limits? And then we'll see the insert statement, use case of the insert statement. And then we'll see the delete statement, use case of the delete statement. And what are the undelete statement? Undelete statement. And then we'll see the use case of the undelete statement. Finally, we'll have a today's interview questions. Now, what did we learn in last session? What did
Like operator,
yes, like operator,
How to
Relation-
write SOQL queries with relationships?
right? With relationship. Parent to parent, parent to parent.
and query limitations.
Right. If I have to pull the data from parent to parent, how can we pull it?
By giving object name dot field API name. The levels goes on.
Okay, if it is a parent to child,
We need to write a subquery.
we need to write subquery. Okay. And how do you identify the parent child? What are the child object name is there for parent to child? How do you identify the child? How do you identify the child?
I didn't get your question, ma'am. Okay.
So in the object, we have a child relationship name. So by using the child relationship, we will identify the what is the child object name. Then you have to add a underscore R for the relationship. Now let's see the SOSL, Salesforce Object Search Language. Salesforce Object Search Language. So Salesforce Object Search Language is nothing but where SOQL is for to query the
Ma'am, you are on mute.
Ma'am, we are not able to hear you, ma'am.
Ma'am, you are on mute. We can't hear you.
oh sorry, from when you guys you're not there. Okay. So what I was saying is in the database, for example, you have a table. The table is account table. So if you want to get the data from the table, then you need to query the data. For example, from this account table, you wanted to get the specific record. In that case, what we have done is we have used the SOQL. And let's assume that I have a text. Text is a Salesforce. There is a text which is available, which is called as a Salesforce. Now you are searching this text into the multiple table. You are searching this text into the multiple table. Basically in the database, wherever this text is available, I wanted to get that data. Now Salesforce or SOSL is nothing but it's a search. You are searching a specific text, whereas the SOQL is it's a query. You are querying the data. This is for querying the data, the SOQL one, and SOSL is to search the data. You are searching it. Rest all are same. Salesforce object query language, SOSL is Salesforce object search language. Say SOSL is nothing but searching the language. Now let's see the definition of it. So SOSL is nothing but it is used to construct a text-based search query against the search index. That means if you want to search a specific thing, this is a search query. You are searching the inside the query, you are given a text and you are searching the inside the database. In order to use that search, we will use the SOSL. So it performs the searching of some page or a word for making easy for devs to find the any record or data. Right? So it searches the name, email field, right? So the data type which whatever you are searching it, the field data type should be either text, either phone, either email. When you have these three, then only it is going to search. So that is the limitation which we have with the SOSL. So SOSL statement is, it returns the list of list. SOSL statement returns the list of the S object. The result list are always returned in the same order as they were specified in the SOSL. That means whatever the order you specify. Now, when you say here SOSL means, for example, I wanted to search a text from the account, a text from the account table, a text from the contact table, a text from the lead table. Now, you will specify these object names in the SOSL. Whatever the order you have mentioned, the same order the query is going to return. The same order query is going to return. The search query is going to return. So the SOSL query does not return any records for the specific type. It is going to give you the list of the information for the different objects. Right? Take a notes of it. Then we will see one of the example how to write a SOSL in the query editor and then how to write a SOSL in the Apex. Take a notes of it. Shall I move on? Done? Now, how SOQL starts with, how you start the SOQL?
With the select.
Select.
It starts with select statement. Whereas SOSL starts with find keyword. Find keyword. So find is the class. SOSL starts with find class. SOSL start with find class. Find is basically, it specify the text. It specify the text or basically if you want to search anything, you need to start with find class. The syntax for the SOSL is, first you need to start with find. SOSL always starts with find class, and find is, it specifies the text or the word or phrase to search the phrase. Now after that, you need to write what is search group. What is search? After the find, you need to write the search group. So this search group tells the scope of the fields. The scope of the fields that you are searching it. Do you want to search the particular text into the all the fields, or name fields, or email fields, or phone fields? The search group contains the all fields, or a name fields, email fields, or phone fields. Then we have a returning. Returning is, it is the information that returns, a search returns. Which object do you want to return? You are specifying the find and you are giving the text in which all group you wanted to search it. Right? So when I say which all group is nothing but which fields do you want to search it, the data type of the fields. Now, after that, I need to return the object. I need to return the object. Now it is going to specify that. Now I have to specify here which object do I need to return. So returning, you have to specify the object. Then after that, we need to specify limit. If limit is maybe mandatory, may not be mandatory. May be mandatory, may not be mandatory. If you want a limit, you can specify the limit. If you think that it is not mandatory, then you can specify. For example, now let's go here. Find. Here in the quotation, you need to search. In the quotation, you need to search the text. Whatever the text is there, you have to search the text. Then after that, you need to specify in the group. Which group? This is the search group. In search group, which group you are searching it? Whether it is a all fields, or whether it is a name fields, or whether it is a email fields, or whether it is a phone fields, which one you are searching it. Then you have it, after that you have to specify the returning. Returning is the standard keyword. Returning, then you need to specify the object here. You need to specify the object. Which object are you searching it? Which object you are searching it? Which object you are searching it? Find is the standard keyword. You need to search the text. In is the standard keyword. You need to search in the specific group. Returning is the standard keyword, and you need to search the object. After that, if you want, you can specify the limit. After that, if you want, you can specify the limit. Now, let me show you a few examples. Take a notes of it, then we will see the example. Now let's move on. Let me go to the developer console. Let's assume that now in the query editor, what we will be doing is I'll be writing the SOSL. You can write a SOQL here as well as the SOSL. SOSL always starts with find keyword. SOSL always starts with a find keyword. Now let's assume that I have an account object. In this object, let's see what are the records we have. I have an account object. In this account object, let's say I have a, let's assume that click on a all customers. Now I'll search the Infosys. Okay. Now here I want to search the Infosys. Infosys. Now Infosys in all the fields I wanted to search. All the fields I wanted to search. Which object all the fields? Returning account. In account, I wanted to search all the fields. Execute it. Now what happened? It is giving me the only 3 records. So in 3 records, we have a name which we are searching, which is called as a Infosys. Now if I search here Infosys, if I search Infosys, if I search Infosys, 3 records, right? So 3 records, it is giving the Infosys. But what it is giving the ID. Now, for example, now I wanted to search in the account, but when it is returning it, when it is returning or giving the result, when it is giving the result, give me the name. Do not provide me the ID, provide me the name. So here it is giving me the result in the form of ID. But I wanted to know the name. What is the name of that record? Name of the record. In that case, what you need to specify here, you need to specify the name. You need to specify the name and then click on execute. Now it is giving me the name. Right? So this is the search keyword. This is the search keyword. Search keyword, we will write it into the curly braces in the query editor. Whatever the search keyword is there, we will write it into the query, right? We will write it into the curly brace in the query editor. In all the fields I wanted to search it. Returning account. Now first when I give simple account, it is just printing the ID. But I want the complete information. But I want complete information from the name. Basically the output which I am interested is name. The output which I am interested is name. So that's the reason I have specified here name. Now let's assume that I wanted to search in the account and contact, both the object. Right now I am returning from the single object. If I wanted to return the value from the multiple objects, I wanted to search in account contact. Now in that case, comma, contact, let's assume that in the contact also, I wanted to search the first name. Wherever the first name is, Infosys, wherever it is finding in all the fields of the contact, if anywhere it is finding it, just print me the first name. Print me the first name. So this is printing. What is the return? What is the return value? So do I wanted to return the ID or a name? So if I click on execute, then it is going to print name and the contact is first name. Contact is first name. So first name is, I do not have the value. Let's say here, if I give the last name. So if I click on here, if I specify the last name, click on execute. Now if I go to the contact, I have a last name. So if I search, if I go to the customer and the contacts, now in the contacts, let's say here, all contacts. If I'm searching here Infosys. Infosys, right? So where it is Infosys in the account name. So in entire record, wherever the Infosys keyword is there, we are searching in all the fields. We are searching in all the fields, but return me the just last name. Do not return me the complete data. Just return me the last name. Just return me the account name. So that's what it is going to print. In case if you wanted to print in multiple records, in case if you want to print in multiple records, multiple objects, let's assume that you wanted to print in, usually in the real time what we will do is we will specify the object. Which object do you wanted to search? Which object do you want to search? For example, you wanted to print the last name. Now you wanted to print the last name here, department I wanted to print, and then first name I wanted to print. I want to print these three values. These three values. Now click on execute. Right, so it is going to print me the contacts, last name, department, first name. Last name, department, first name. Right, similarly, so these are the examples which we have seen. In case if you wanted to print where the industry, now I wanted to apply the where condition. I wanted to apply the where condition. If you want to apply the where condition, if you want to apply the where condition, you can specify the account, name, industry. Within the account, open bracket, you can specify the where condition. You can specify the where condition. Now inside this where condition, you can specify industry equal to agriculture. Or similarly, if you want to specify in the, similarly, if you want to specify in the contact, if you want the contact also, if you want to check where condition, you can check the where condition. So this is in the SOQL. If you want to specify the where condition, you can add it inside the name, like whatever this bracket is there, within that you have to write a name. Otherwise, if you wanted to write it into the contact, you can write it into the contact. So within this object, you need to specify the where condition, whether it is a where condition or you wanted to add any other data. Right, so this is how we write it into the query editor. This is how we write it into the query editor. Now, for example, if I wanted to write inside the Apex, this is so far we have seen the query editor. If I wanted to write it into the Apex, in the Apex, what we will do is the output of the search is list of S object. Because whatever the output that I'm receiving it, this is one list I'm receiving it, this is another I'm receiving the list. That means multiple list values I'm receiving it. Multiple list values I'm receiving it. So it is SOSL output is always list of list. SOSL output is always list of list. Now here I have a first list and within this again I have another list. Within this again I have another list. Right? So list of list, we have a list of the results, new equal to list of S object. Now, list of results equal to, you need to specify the find keyword. Now the search keyword here is It's always starts with a find, and the SOSL is also within the square bracket. SOSL also within the square brackets. So you have to find, and here the search keyword is, you need not to put the curly braces. So in the query editor, what we have done is we have specified inside the curly braces. Whereas inside the Apex, you need to specify within the single quotes. You need to specify within the single quotes. In all fields returning account, first name, and the limit, you can specify the whatever the limit you want, you can specify the limit. Right now, finally, we are printing the data. This is how we write it inside the Apex. Now let me show you one example. Now developer console, open, execute anonymous. Now let's say here, I'm going to specify list of list. We don't know what is the object that we are going to search it. So that's the reason I'm specifying here S object. S object. And let's specify here list of results. List of results equal to new list of S object. List of S object. Now, whatever this list of result is there, list of result equal to find. Now I'm going to search Infosys. Infosys in all fields. Returning account. Returning account. I'm going to return the name. I'm going to return the name. Going to return the name. Now finally we'll say here system.debug. I'll say the result plus I need to specify the list of results. Whatever the list of results is there, I'm going to specify the list of results. Now let's execute this. Now let's say debug. We got the result, account, name. This is the first one. ID by default, it is going to give me. So this is the first record, Infosys, and this is the second record, Infosys, and this is the third record, Infosys. Total 3 records it is printing. Total 3 records it is printing. Right? So SOSL is always stores into the list of object. S object, because S object, why? You can specify the account also here. You can specify the account also, but we don't know what we are going to search it, right? The return value is, it will not give you the account. The return value of this is, it will not give you the account. The return value of the search is list of S object. List of S object. I cannot store it into the account, list of account. Like that, I cannot store. Now let's go ahead and see one example. Let's assume that file, new Apex class. Let's say SOSL query. Now in this, I'm going to implement a method, public static void, public static void. Let's say search in S object. Search in S object. Now I'll declare the list of S object. List of S object. Search list. Now this search list equal to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find. Now what are the keyword is there? Usually the keyword is like here I can specify the Infosys, right? Infosys in all fields. In all fields. Returning account name. I'll print the account name and then I'll print the, let's say, contact first name. Now let's go for an account name first. Now I'm querying the Infosys for all fields and returning the account name. Now, from this, how can I get, this is storing into the which object? The output of this will be storing into the which object if I have to query, if I have to loop through this. If I have to loop through this, which object do I need to loop it? Let's assume that I have a here account and contact. Both I have. I'm printing the account as well as contact last name, comma first name. I'm searching in account and contact. Now, what are the output we are getting? What are the output we are getting it? This output, where are we searching it? How can I look through this record? Now I have received this record around 3 or 4 records in account, 3 records, in contact 4 records. Now I need to look through the 3 accounts and 4 contacts. How can I look through the 3 accounts and 4 contacts? Look through the 3 accounts and 4 contacts. How can I look through that? Now, first of all, if I wanted to look through this record, what should I need to do? No. One way is whatever the output you are getting it, this output, store it into the, convert that list of S object to the list of account, search account equal to, now whatever this account is there, whatever the account is there, what you can do is list of account, convert that into the account, search list of 0, search list of 0. So what happened, whatever the search list is there, in this search list, the first index I'm converting into the list of account. So converting into the list of account. So whatever the search list is inside the list of S object. Get the first index and convert that into the list of account. Convert into the list of account. Now what I am doing is converting list of S object to list of account. List of account. I'm converting the list S object to the list of account. Right? So few developers write a logic converting like this, or else the other way of implementation is, instead of specifying the account here, you will specify the account array. Account array, then I can specify here account array. Instead of writing the list of account, you can specify the account list. Right? This, what are the square bracket and close bracket is called as a list or an array. Now I can use the same equal to, can specify account array And then I'm going to convert the first index of the search list to the account list. Similarly, contact. I wanted to get the contact array. Now search contact. Search contacts equal to contact. Now here I'll specify here search list. Search list of 1. Search list of 1. This is the first record. First index. 0th index is a account. First index is a contact. I'm storing the account and contact separately in the each. Separately in the each, I'm storing it. If you want, you can print the data also. Like system.debug. System.debug. Now account details. Account details plus search account. Plus search account. Let me comment out this. Now similarly, I wanted to print the contact. Similarly, I wanted to print the contact details. So which one? Search contacts. Search contacts, search accounts. Now let's click on save. Now debug, open, execute, anonymous. Now what I'll do, I'll take a class dot this is a search in S object. Search in S object. Now let's execute this. Execute the highlighted one. Now the output which I'm getting is account details are separately in one record, which is the 3 records I have found it, and the contact records are separately into the contact. I have divided the search result into the account records are into the account and contacts records are into the contact. Now if I wanted to loop through the account, I can specify for loop account A : search result. Search account, whatever the search account is there, search account, then I'm going to print system.debug. What are the fields that I am going to get it? Only the name field which is available, right? So let's say here account name. Plus a.name. Similarly, if I wanted to loop through the contact, for loop contact, let's say CON : the search contacts is the one which we are going to store. Search contacts. Now here I'm going to specify the system.debug. System.debug contact name. Contact first name. Contact first name. Now here I'll specify that CON dot. Whatever the first name is their first name. And similarly, I'm going to print the last name. System.debug last name. Last name, and then you can print what else we are using it. First name, last name, that's it. Now if I try to execute this, let's save the record and execute the highlighted one. Let's say debug. Now it is printing the account details, account name Infosys, first name all are null, and then we have a last name. And we have a last name.
Ma'am, can you also print the search list?
Which one?
Search
Search
list.
list. Search list, okay. So search list will be in the, it's a list of list. Now let me print that. So here you have a search list. This is the SOSL details, click on save. Now debug, open, execute, highlight this, execute the highlighted one. Now let's go to the debug log. The output of the SOSL is there are two arrays are there. That means there are two lists is there. There are two lists is there. Let me copy this. Right. So this is one array which is there. Within that again I have a one more array within that account. This is the first account, second account, and the third account, and closing the first array, which is a list of account. And we have another array here, that is a contact. Now this contact is, this is the first contact, this is the second contact, third and fourth contact. Then finally we are ending the inner query, inner array, then we are closing the outer one. So list, this is a one list. Within that I have a one more list, another list is there. Now whatever we are getting the SOSL output, I am taking the first index of this, storing into the accounts, and taking the first index of this, 0th index is account, first index is contact, storing into the contact. Now I am dividing this data and printing the data here. Right, so that's all about the SOSL. In case if you wanted to pass the data, in case if you want to pass the data from outside, in case if you want to pass the data from outside, let's say here I'm giving the infos is hard-coded. Infos is hard-coded. Let's assume that you are passing the data. Let's say string search text. Search text. Now this search text, you have to pass it here. Instead of a Infosys, now let me comment out this instead of changing it. Copy. Instead of a text, what I'll do, I'll pass this search text from the outside. Now here, remove the quotation. What I need to do, if I'm passing the value from the outside, you just need to use the colon. Whatever the search text name is there, you just need to specify the search text. Click on save. Right, so while executing it, I need to specify the string here, Infosys. Let's comment out this, and this is second. Execute it. Now you are going to get the output of the SOSL, whatever the text is passed, and then you are getting the account and contact separately. So this is the non-parameterized method. Calling the non-parameterized method, and then you have to parameterized method, you have to pass the parameter from the outside. And that's about the SOSL. Let's see the differences between the SOQL and SOSL. SOQL is by using the SOQL, by using the SOQL, we can make a query only on a one object at a time. Either you can query on the account or you can query on the contact. By using the SOSL, you can query on multiple objects at a time. And SOQL is can query on all fields of any data type. Can query all fields of any data type. SOSL is can query on fields, on the fields whose data type is name, phone, email. So the limitation for the SOSL is you can search a text where the data type is a name, that means text, or whether the data type is a phone, or whether the data type is email. Whenever you have a data type of the field of the text, phone, email, then only you can search in the SOSL. Now, SOQL retrieves the data from database using the select keyword. Whereas SOSL, it is find keyword. It is going to retrieve the data from multiple objects from the database using the keyword called find keyword. Return type is here, SOQL is list. SOSL is return type is list of list. Take a notes of it. Done. Now, let's move on. The next one is DML statements. DML is nothing but a data manipulation language. Data manipulation language. Now, data manipulation language is nothing but what? Data is nothing but a record. Data is nothing but a record. Manipulation is nothing but you are managing the record. Either you are modifying the record or you are updating the record, you are creating the record, you are trying to manipulate or you are trying to manage the record by creating, updating or deleting something you are performing on the record level, which is called as a DML. So that means by using the DML statement, we can perform the operation one or more records at a time through the Apex programming. By using the DML statement, we can perform the insert, update, delete, undelete, upsert, and merge operations in the object. So you can perform insert is nothing but a creating a record. Insert is nothing but a creating a record, updating a record, deleting a record, or undeleting a record, otherwise upsert or a merge. Now we will see each one of them step by step. Insert, what is the insert, update, delete, right? Update, delete, undelete, upsert, and merge. Now let's see now there are two types of a DMLs are there. There are two types of DML. One is by using the DML statement, and also the other one is by using the database class method. You can perform a DML operation using the standard one, which is called as a DML statement, or else the Salesforce is provided, which is called as a database class method. Both you can perform it. The difference is Garner limits. The differences is Garner limits. And also, in order to avoid few issues with the DML statement, in case if you wanted to avoid, there are few issues are there. We will see going further. To avoid those, to overcome those issues, we have to switch to the database class method. We have to go to the database class method. So there are two types of DML statements. Take a note of it. By using the DML statement, by using the database class method. Now, let's see the DML statements. By using the DML statements, we can perform insert, update, delete, undelete, upsert, merge. Now let's see the scenario. We will see step by step each one of them. First, we will see the insert. First, we will see the insert. This is the DML statement. However, database class methods are, by using the database class method, we can perform a database.insert. Now here, database is the class, database is class. And the whatever the after the dot we have it, that is called as a method, insert method. Similarly, database.update method, database.delete method, database.undelete method, database.upsert method, database.merge method, database.empty recycle bin. We will also see all of this. Now, this is the database classes and the previous one is a DML. Now take a notes of this one, database.insert. Now let's move on. Now we have seen the DML statement, database class methods. Now let's see the Garner limits for the few Garner limits. So basically, whenever we wanted to perform the DML statement, we can use maximum 150 DML statement per transaction. That means each transaction, whenever the transaction, when I say transaction, now whenever the log is executed, right? This is the one log. This is one transaction. In this transaction, the maximum that it can be executed, the DML statements are 150. DML statements are 150. Each transaction, the maximum DML statements are 150. Now, in case if it goes more than 150, even it goes more than 150. For example, you have written so many DML statements in single transaction. If it crosses the 150 DML, you will see error called system.limit exception. You will see error called system.limit exception. That is too many DML statements, 151. This is the error you are going to receive it. This is the error you are going to see system.limit exception, too many DML statements 151, and it will abort the transaction. It will not execute it. Now, what is the solution for this? You need to check your code. Why there are more than 150 DMLs are there? You need to reduce the DML statements. And each DML statement can process maximum of 10,000 records. Each DML statement can process maximum of 10,000 records. That means if 150 DML statements are there, each DML statement, that means 150, each means 150, 150 into whatever the 10,000 records are there, total 10,000 records. Now, what are the output of this? Those are the records. Per transaction, it is going to execute it. Per transaction, it is going to execute it. So 150 into 10,000. It will be around 15 lakhs. 15 lakhs records per transaction. Right? That is more than that. Take a note of it. Then let's move on. And the best practice is never use the DML statement within the for loop. Never use the DML statement within the for loop. Now let's see the first one, insert statement. By using this statement, we can insert one or more records inside the Salesforce object. That means whenever we are performing the DML operation, always we have to use the bulkification process. Bulkification process. This is also another best practice. Whenever you are inserting a record, insert it as a bulkification. Whether you can insert a one record or whether you can insert a multiple records. If it is a one record, then you need to specify whatever the object name is there, whatever the variable name is there, you can specify the variable name. If it is a multiple records, always insert the collection of the data type. Always insert the collection of data type. Now let's see the use case. Write an Apex program to insert the 10 lead records. 10 lead records we have to insert. Now let's go ahead and implement program. File, new, Apex class. Let's say DML helper. Now in the DML helper, I'll create a method which is called as a public static void. Let's say create bulk records or create a bulk records. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert a 10 lead records. Insert 10 new lead records. Now, for inserting the 10 new lead records, so usually if I wanted to insert a lead record, what we will do, we will initialize the lead LD equal to new lead. Now LD dot first name. Let's say I'm going to specify the first name, Salesforce, and then LD dot last name. LD dot last name. Let's say equal to, let's give it as a lead. Now, what else we have here? LD dot company equal to, let's say I'm going to specify the company name, Salesforce company. LD dot status equal to, status is, let's assume that so let's say here lead is basically I'm going to specify the status is open, not contacted. So I'll copy this open, not contacted. LD dot rating equal to, let's say warm. LD dot email equal to, let's specify lead ls@gmail.com @gmail.com. And then what else we have? Web source, lead source equal to web. Then I'm going to insert a lead. This is a single lead insert. Now, if I wanted to insert the 10 leads, this is a single lead insert. If I wanted to insert a single lead, this is how we will do it. Let's assume that I wanted to insert the 10 leads. That means I need to write this logic 10 times. Instead of writing a 10 times logic, what we can do is we can specify for loop here. For loop integer counter equal to 1. Then I need to specify the condition counter less than or equal to 10. Then we have a counter plus. 3 things: initialization, condition check, and then increment. Within this for loop, I'll specify here inserting the lead button. Where I'm doing the DML operation I'm doing inside the loop, which is not right. We should never do the DML operation within the loop. Within the loop, we should not be doing it. right? So that's the reason I'm commenting out. Now, here, how do I know that how many records? First name is whether I'm creating the 10 record or a 1 record. Always says that, always it says that, what is the error in Parlo? Okay. So always it is going to create a sales lead, sales increment. That means duplicate leads are going to create it. Now, in order to avoid a duplicate records, now what I'll do is for the last name, I'll add a concatenation of counter. And in the Gmail also, in the Gmail, what I'll do is plus, I'll add the counter. So what will happen? ls1@gmail.com, ls2@gmail.com, ls3@gmail.com, ls4@gmail.com. Till 10, it is going to create it. Now, this is the initialization part is done. But how are we going to insert? In order to insert, if it is a single record, I can directly insert and then object name. What are the object name? That is the instance name is there. That's name I can provide it. But here, what we are doing, we are creating the collection of records. If we are creating the collection of records, we need to store it into the list of lead. Let's say lead list equal to new list of lead. New list of lead. I'm going to store all these records into the list. How are we going to store it? Lead list dot add. Then I'm going to add the LD. And I'm going to add the LD. Click on save. Now, this is for adding into the list. So what I'm doing here, single record, I'm inserting it. Each record I'm adding into the list. So finally, what will happen? Whatever this lead list is there, lead list is going to contain all the 10 records. It's not yet inserted in the database, but it contains the 10 records. Now I'm going to insert the record. How are we going to insert the record? We have to come outside of the for loop. Now check lead list. If my lead list is not empty, if my lead list is not empty, then I'm going to insert lead list. I'm going to insert the lead list. Click on a save. Now let's go ahead and execute this logic. This is the class name, debug, and then dot create bulk records. Create bulk records. Execute this. Debug. We are not printing it. Now the output I can see here in the leads. If I refresh, I can see that the lead records, what are the Salesforce lead records are there? The Salesforce lead records are created today. Let Salesforce lead 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 records it is created. Up to 10 records it is created. Now let's see the Garner limits. Per transaction, how many DML statements got executed right now? Right now, in this logic, how many DML statements got executed?
One.
One DML. One DML.
It's a 1 because we are inserting the bulk. We are inserting the bulk. So the DML statements are 1. And how many rows it is executed?
10 rows.
10 rows it got executed. Out of 10,000, 10 rows got executed, and the DML statements are out of 150, 1 it is executed. Now, in case if you wanted to print this Garner limits, what are the Garner limits are there? You wanted to print it from the Apex. Instead of looking at the debug log, you wanted to print the Garner limits. If you want to print the Garner limits, how can we print it? We have a class in the Salesforce which is called system.debug. Now here, let's assume that I'm going to print the number of DML statements. Number of DML statements used. What else I'm going to print? One is the number of statement, DML statements. And then what is the limit? That is the used one, and this is the limits. And the next one is the rows. How many rows are processed? How many rows are processed? And then what is the limit of it? Rows limit. What is the rows limit? Now, how can I print the Garner limits? We have a class in the Salesforce which is called as a limits. Limits dot. If you want to print DML statement used, how many DML statements are used? Get DML statements. If you wanted to set get the limits, what is the limit? Actual limit. What is the limits of the DML statement? So you will have a get limit DML statements. How many are used? You can get it from the get DML statement. What is the actual limit? You can get it from the get limit DML statement. Similarly, processed. I wanted to know how many records are processed. How many records are processed? If you wanted to know how many records are processed, you can get it from the DML rows. If you wanted to know what is the limit in order to process the rows, that you will get it from the get limit DML rows. Now click on save. Now debug, open. Now highlight this, execute the DML statement. Duplicate detected. Okay, so I need to change this. So these records are already there. So I'll say here, instead of a lead, sales Apex. Let's say sales Apex. So here LA. Click on save. It's saving the record. Now click on the highlight, execute the highlighted record. Now we have a log that got created here. The log is, if I click on the debug only, now what is happened? Number of DML statements are 1 out of 150. Number of rows are processed 10 out of 10,000. Now, how many queries we can query per transaction? SOQL query. How many transactions can we in single transaction? What is the limit of query? How many queries we can execute it?
200.
100.
100. Okay. 100 or 200. 100. The queries that are 100. How many rows we can get it? For each, for single transaction, how many query rows the return, whatever the rows it is returning, how many return values? 50,000.
50K.
DML is 10,000, SOQL is a 50,000. SOQL is 50,000. So this is how they write a logic in the real time. So this is the inserting a record. This is inserting a record. Now similarly, if I, let's go, let me give you the assignment. Write a Apex program to insert a 50 contact records inside the object. This is the assignment. You need to insert the records. You need to insert the 50 records, 50 contact records within the Salesforce. Right. Within the Salesforce. And the next one is write an Apex program to insert an account record and insert one account record and related 20 opportunity records and 10 related cases. So that means total 31 records you are going to insert here. 31 records how? 1 account record. Related 20 opportunities record. 10 related case records. Total 31 records you are going to insert. So how you are going to insert? First you need to insert the account record. Once it is insert is successful, then you need to insert the opportunity records, which are 20. Then you need to insert the 20 case records. 20 case records. And the third one is write an Apex program to insert a hiring manager record and 5 related position records to 5 related position records and 2 related candidates for each position. So that means you will be inserting the hiring manager first. Then once it is successfully inserted, then you need to insert the position records. Then once it is done, then you need to insert the candidate for the position. Candidate for the position. You need to link it here. Candidate inserted and linked to the position. Position created and linked to the hiring manager. Now in this case created and linked it to the account. Opportunity created and linked it to the account. Take a notes of it. Done. Now let's move on. Now let's read. Next one is a delete statement. Delete statement. By using this statement, we can remove the, that means we can delete the one record or a multiple records. We can remove the one record or a multiple records. In order to remove the record, in order to delete the record, or in order to remove the record, we need a record ID. Record ID is a must. What is the record ID here? Whenever the record is open, for example, if I open this record, when I open this record, on top I can see the ID here, record ID. So that record ID is a mandatory. Record ID is mandatory. So in order to remove the record ID is needed. Now, whatever the deleted records are there, it will sit into the recycle bin for 15 days. So syntax will be either you can delete one record. If it is a one record, delete whatever the object name or instance name. If you are deleting the multiple records, then you need to specify the collection of object name. Whatever the collection variable name is there, then you need to specify it. Now let's see the use case of it. Write an Apex program to delete the lead records from the object whose last name is starting with a specified character at runtime. Now that means I need to delete the lead records. Which lead records I need to delete it? During the runtime, I'll be passing the some specified character. Now, based on that character, we need to delete the record. Based on that character, we need to delete the record. Now, let's go ahead and implement it. In the same class, I'm going to write one more method. In the same class, I'm going to write another method. This is for the insert. Description, this is for insert. Insert lead record. Now we are going to write description, delete. Let's assume that lead record, lead records. Now, public, static, void, delete lead records. Delete lead records. Now, I'll be passing the what is the data that I need to delete it. So it has to be a string. Parameterized method. Now I need to specify the string character here. I need to pass some character from the outside. Now, in case if this character, sometimes I can pass a null values also. So I need to check if my whatever the string is there. If this string dot, if it is not blank, is not blank. Which one is not blank? The string character is not blank. String character is not blank. That means what it is, what I'm checking, if this string character is not equal to null. If it is not equal to null, then I'm going inside it. Now I can pass. Now we have a records here. We have a records. We have a record. We have a records, and these records are, we have a Salesforce Apex records from 1 to 10 we have. Right? So let's assume that I wanted to delete all these 10 records. So what I'll do, if I wanted to delete all the Salesforce Apex 1 to the till 10, 1 to the till 10, if I wanted to delete it, how do I write the query? How do I write the query? Select ID. Now I just need an ID from lead. Now what do I need to write it after that? What do I need to write it?
Where lead name like.
I need to use the operator called like, because we are going to delete multiple records. Let's say last name. Like starting character. No, I can provide anything. If I provide a Salesforce Apex. So what I need to do, I need to add here plus the whatever the percentage is there, I'm going to add the percentage. This value, I'm going to store it into the list of lead. Fine. If it is not empty, then I'm going to delete this records. I'll say here, just for condition, I'm checking it if my lead list is not empty. Then I'm going to delete lead list. I'm going to delete the whatever this lead list is there. I'm going to delete that lead list. Now let's go ahead and execute this. So DML helper dot whatever the method name is there. Then I need to pass the parameter to this method. I need to pass the parameter string character. So I'll be passing the Salesforce affix. Salesforce Apex, I'm passing it. Now, if I execute this, all my records which are starting with Salesforce Apex is going to delete. Execute the highlighted one. Right? How many DMLs got executed?
1.
DML statements are 0. How many it is executed? DML rows are 0. What is the SOQL query? 1. Did it really delete it? Because DML statements are 0. But if I see here, it is not yet deleted. It is not yet deleted. What is the reason it is not yet deleted? I don't have a DML statements here. What is the wrong here? Why these records are not deleted? I have given the Salesforce Apex, but it is not deleted the record. It is not deleted the record. Do I not have it? I have it. Now, how do you debug these kind of scenarios? Now, we have executed this, but DML statement did not execute it. So in order to do that, first identify am I really getting the data in this system.debug? And what we are going to do, lead list. I'm going to print the lead list. Right, so let's go ahead and execute it. Open, execute, execute. Debug. No, we are not getting any data. We are not getting any data. So that's the reason why I'm not getting the data. Here I have a string characters. Now plus concatenation, I'm doing it. Plus whatever the concatenation percentage is there, I'm doing the percentage. Let's go ahead and print this. System.debug. String characters plus string character. Now within this, I'm going to say here, let's say I'm going to say string characters plus equal to, I'm going to add a percentage. Instead of adding here, I'm just adding on top. Now let's click on save. Perfect. So let's go ahead and execute. Highlight this, execute it. Salesforce Apex, I'm receiving it, but debug, I'm getting a 0. Debug, I'm getting a 0. Now let me print this. Let me take another value instead of this. Let's take a laptop. Debug, execute. Laptop. Execute the highlighted one. Zero, DML statements are 0. I'll simply write this string chars is not equal to null. Okay, so I have written, what is the problem there? No, is not blank. Now let's see
Pardon.
this. It's not printing the lead list. Lead list, it is not printing here. Select ID from.
Ma'am, on lead records, last name is not the one we are providing, I guess. It is first name and last name combined. If we see Salesforce Apex.
Yeah, possible that. So here, let's click on edit. Now, what is the last name? Last name is lead. So let's pass the value here. Last name is Apex. Now try to execute it. Execute the highlighted one. Now it is deleting the 10 records. Click on the, so this is the record. Now if I go back, now it is going to be the, it won't be available. The Salesforce Apex is deleted. Now if I go back to the recycle bin, in the recycle bin, I can see those records. Recycle bin, I can see those records. So these are the 1 to 10 records are available. Sometimes what happens is few developers, either they will write this much logic or else they simply write in one line instead of writing all this logic. Instead of writing all this logic, I can write it into the simple line. Now, whatever this query is there, I'll take that query plus I'm going to concatenate the percentage in front of this query. I'll simply write the delete. And simply write the delete. Do not put the double space here. Put only single space. If you put the double space, possible that it might delete everything. So you have to be very careful whenever you are doing the delete operation. Whenever you are doing the delete operation, you have to be very careful. Now let's say I'm going to execute here. Now instead of Apex, I'll say done. Now let me execute this. I have saved. Let me save the record. Let's save the Apex. Now let me do one thing. Directly I'll print the system.debug, number of records deleted. Number of records deleted. Plus I'm going to put the limits dot get DML rows. Now what are the get DML rows? From this I can identify whether it is deleted or not. How many records are deleted? So now I'll go ahead and execute this record. Execute the highlighted one. Now click on the debug. One record is deleted. Now if I see in the recycle bin, there is a one record which says laptop Dell. Laptop Dell. So that record is deleted. So this record is deleted. Right now 9:40 AM it is deleted. Now let's assume that if you wanted to revert back. If you want to revert back the changes. Now you have deleted the record. Now you wanted to revert these changes back to the whatever the records are there, you wanted to restore that records into the Salesforce. In that case, what you will do? Now you have deleted here the records. Let's say description. undelete record or restore the record. Restore lead records. Now, let's implement public static void. So this is a undelete or a restore records, restore lead records. Now here also I'm going to pass the string. Let's say here I'm passing the. Let's assume I'm going to pass the last name. Last name. I'm going to pass last name here. And for undelete, I can simply write undelete here. Undelete and then single space. Select what are the data I'm going to get it. You can specify the fields which you wanted to get it, or you can specify the ID. Let's say ID from lead where what are the last name is we have last name like percentage. Now what are this last name? Concatenation of the special character, that is the percentage, and this is undeleting it. But here another condition I can also check. Another condition is deleted. Is deleted equal to true. Will I get the information if I execute this logic? If I execute this logic, will I be able to restore the data? Will I be able to restore the data? What is missing here? If I execute it, will I be able to get the data? What is the condition is missing? I have written the is deleted equal to true. But along with this, I need to give another condition in order to retrieve the data records from the recycle bin. What is the condition that we need to specify? We need to specify the all rows. If you specify the all rows, then only you will be able to get the data. Now this is single line will be enough. Now what I'll do is I'll print the debug, system.debug, number of DML rows. The number of records undeleted or a restored. Restored. Now DML rows. Right. Also, if you wanted to check how many DML statements are used. DML statements are used. So for that, we are going to get limits dot get DML statements. Save this record. Error. What is the error? Limits dot get. Okay. Let's say debug. I'm going to execute DML helper dot restore. I'm going to restore the del records. What are the del record is there, or else I'm going to restore the apex. Whatever the apex records are there, I'm going to restore the apex records. Restore the apex records. Now highlight this, execute the highlighted record. Now what will happen if I execute this? Now debug, how many DMLs got executed? 1 DML state. How many records got restored? 10 records got restored. Now if I refresh this, the records has been restored back to the lead record. So you will not be able to see those records into the recycle bin. Now if I go to the leads, If I go to the leads record, now I can see that leads record, if I open this, whatever the data that we have provided for the lead creation, the same data will be available. So go to the details, company, lead source, email, lead status, everything got restored. So that is for the undelete. That is for undelete. So assignment for the delete statement, write an Apex program to delete the contact record from the object whose last name is whatever you are passing it, whatever the specified characters during the runtime. So that particular records has to be deleted. And the second one is write an Apex program to delete the opportunity record from the object. You need to delete the record from the opportunity. What are the specified characters you are passing it during the runtime? Based on that, it has to be deleted the opportunity records. Take a notes of it. Done. Okay, let's move on. For undelete, we have already seen the state execution of undelete. So assignments of this undelete is write an Apex program to restore the deleted opportunity records. Whatever the opportunity records you have deleted in the previous assignment, you need to restore back those deleted opportunity back to the record, opportunity record. So that's all for today, and I'll give you the trial head links. That's all for today.